Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This is going to be ultimate best Annette build. I think there's only Annette and Spencer left. I've already done for Daniel, Alex, and Nikolai. So moving on, let's do Annette, right? So let me cover the build first, and then I'll show matches for you guys. I've already showed videos that was kind of had this build, but this is the perfected version of that. So that's why I'm making a new video. So let me go over the perks, the passive ones. So the first perk is the Fury, so he reduces the next time. So when you leave working early, you get him back faster. You'll see how this compensates with the rest of the build. I mean, yeah, you'll see. You can try using one of these if you. I mean, honestly, I think this is the best variation, regardless if you're using the type of build that I'm using here. But I mean, I guess if you're not using the type of build that I'm going to show you here, I'll show you the variation as well if you want to switch. I guess you could try these two if you feel like it, but I definitely feel regardless of what build you're using, the first one here is the best, the Fury. For this second one is the V-Act, best one for sure as well. This is, you cannot change, this is necessary for this build to work, so definitely have it, the V-Act. It's the last square there. And finally, the Ambush is also necessary. Do not take off this build or you're going to break it. It's the third square, Ambush. Because we want the zombies to be getting up off the ground very quickly and also being invincible. That's very important for this build to work. This is also a very key card. Do not change this. Don't put the dogs or anything. This card is key for the perfected version of this build. The 0 cost. This is going to come in handy so you can spawn the zombies for no cost. You can essentially spam because there's no cost to it, you know? And you're still building the energy, keep in mind, while you're using this card because it doesn't cost anything. So definitely a key card. Do not mess with this. And this can be changed, but I don't see why you would not use the liquor. You know, it's just the best thing, especially if you're going to be spawning zombies a lot. You might as well use the liquor that's going to give them regeneration buffs. But I guess you could try using the concentrated enhancer as well. Or if you're really into zombies, you could try using these two. But I personally just feel like the best card you can try here is because the zombies are not going to last too long. So I feel like it's probably not worth to use the syringe because they're going to die very quickly. So you might as well put a strong creature that not only is going to do a lot of damage, it's actually cheaper too. It only costs 5, usually it's 7 the cost for a liquor. So you can actually put a cheap creature instead. Keep in mind, we're also going to be using discount, so it's going to be even cheaper than 5. And he also gives the others regen abilities, so they last a little longer than they usually do. So these are the special cards and the perks here, the passive perks. For the equipment, definitely want to use these two for the energy. The miniature reactor and the unstable generator both are on the utility category, as you can see. And definitely want to use this one as well, the fresh blood tree, because otherwise the zombies are too dumb. They're not going to be useful at all. So definitely have at least this level 3. Now this is variable. You can put other things here. The reason why I'm going to show you why it synchronizes with the deck. But that's why I'm using the System Maintenance Manual 2 here, which is the best version. So it moderately decreases the ultimate skill cooldown. So Birkin comes out, recharges a lot quicker, especially combining with that Fury, where he already recharges, most of his time as exit him early. Combining with this, it kind of gets way faster, than it already is. So that's the idea here. You pretty much have Birkin all the time. That's why I'm using this here. But I'm going to show the variation after I show you the deck of what you can use here instead. But these 3 perks here I would not mess with. They're definitely help with the perfected version of this build. And you see it only costs 22 points as well. Now for the deck, finally, I also think these cards are all key. You should not mess with them. I guess the infection is not super necessary, but I like to use it because it's good that they're coughing. It allows them to get grabbed more often, and it also takes away their time, take away their resources because they have to be constantly healing and also using blue herbs. So it's a good thing to have. That's why I have it there, but it's not like absolutely necessary. You could maybe use another buff if you're into that kind of stuff, like regen, for example. I don't think putting another zombie would be a good idea because there's no other zombies that are that cheap. Like these others, like I guess you could put the already infected one, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't feel like it's that good of an idea, but I guess you could try this instead, the infected one. But then the point is that he's the only one that's going to be infected, so your infection efficiency is going to be very low on the survivors. So that's why I like to use this, because then everyone, including the dogs, this works especially well with the dogs, as you're gonna see in the video, because the dog they're usually so distracted with the zombies they kind of ignore the dogs, and the dogs are just like running around biting everyone. And with this thing right here, they spread the infection, a lot. So it's a good combo. So that's why I have it here. But if you really just don't care, really don't want to use this at all, you can definitely try using a cheap zombie here like him. I would use him for sure. Not the crawler, because the crawler is just take space from your max limit that you can spawn, and he's pretty useless. He's just gonna die. He's not really gonna bite anyone, so might as well use this guy. This one is an option, but I don't like that he stops your energy, so that's the only reason why I'm not recommending him. I think stopping the energy is actually gonna be bad for you, so I don't recommend using it. This I think is kind of necessary because you want to keep the energy going, so having this will help. Your zombies will have the energy leech. Especially since they're going to be getting a lot of bites, so it's going to give you a lot of energy back if they have the energy leech on them. Now, this is the part, everything here, I would say is not really, don't alter this at all. Like, have the mod here, these cheap zombies are important. The fact that they're cheap is important as well. And this is the only thing that's really variable. The reason why I'm using the mod here, the power limiter mod, so the cooldown decreases, recharges even faster, is the combo with this, so it gets even more crazy when these two look together. How fast Birkin comes back. But if you're not into playing Birkin, you don't want that advantage, you can just use this instead. For example, so you get your energy a little bit faster, and you can change this as well. Or again, I could even put in maybe another creature here if you're in that kind of stuff. Or you could try I don't know, like maybe even I guess this card would not be good, but maybe a quick draw if you just want to But another buff, for example, as well would be an option. But I don't feel like anything works best, So that's why the best version, I definitely think it's having Birkin a lot more often, because Birkin is going to do a lot more than a zombie, So you might as well have him all the time, so you can really torment the survivors. But I guess the second best option would probably be this thing right here. So you get, but the energy you get is so much, it's not that big of a difference, so you might as well use this. My personal opinion is that this is the best version. When you have Birkin faster, okay? But if you want to really variate, I'm just showing you some options that will still work really, really well. And so let's say you're not using this mod here, the power limiter, what you can use here instead, because using this alone, I don't think is really that worth. You might as well use something else if you're not planning on really capitalizing as max as you can on Birkin. You could try using, for example, let me find it here, this thing right here, because sometimes this build you kind of get above 10 energy, so this. But this is really like situational, It's not really that like, oh my god, I need to use this. You can use this instead. So this is gonna make the zombies like even more effective than they already are with the single fresh blood tree here. So this is an option. Or you could use this, for example. So the zombies are gonna be much stronger because you're gonna have a lot of zombies. Not just that, but they will be significantly stronger with this resilient skin tree. They'll take more shots to go down and things like that. So it's a little better. But probably I would say the second best option would be this. Because remember, we're playing with the infection here. So if you can have that, that is going to make a big... It makes like a 50% difference, if I believe. This level 3 viral canister here on the infection rate is actually like a 50% increase. It is at least 40, I know for sure it is. So it's a big increase. So, it's going to help... The infection is going to get way, way more effective if you're using this. But I personally think the best version is the one with Birkin, because Birkin is going to do a lot more than infection can do, a lot more than any zombie can ever do. So you might as well have him. All right. So that's the build, guys. Just some variations if you're, I don't know, stubborn or something. You don't want to use the build that I'm showing you, and I'm saying is the best. And yeah, that's the build. Let's go for the games now. All right. So let's go to the games. I actually have no idea in which order the games are, but I know there's some good ones, some good matches, maybe some with the high ranks, so with low ranks. I don't remember. I have no idea which order they are, but I'll cover all of them for you guys, so you guys can see the build and its full effect and all its advantages and strengths, and there's actually no weakness. So yeah, there's actually no weakness to this build. Well, I mean, yeah, I can't think of a weakness. I mean, they're gonna kill a lot of zombies, but it really won't matter at the end of the day. You see that? So first thing of this build, you want to spawn the zombies. You see right there, another 2 points right here I can cover. You see how I spawn the zombie at the door? You want to do that so as he gets us from the ground, he grabs the survivor. It's also a very good idea to control your zombies, not just spawn them. because they can be more effective if you're controlling them. You see, he's almost dead already, so that's why I'm kind of focusing on him. And the other point is that you see that I cloned the card that was a double zombie. That's a really good one to clone if you want to, you know, fill the room quickly. And you see with the discount, everything costs like 1. It's super good as well. And you see, like I mentioned earlier on when I was explaining the build, how you see how she's ignoring the dog because she's too focused on the zombies. This is what I mean when I said that when I'm explaining the build, the deck, that you know the zombies know the dogs help a lot with spreading the infection when you have the camera buff there. Now they're trying to ignore the zombies, which is a good strategy. So you need to kind of play ahead when you're doing this to counter that. And you see, he spawned on the door, so that I think he's gonna grab her here. Yeah, you see right there. So as he gets up from the floor, he's gonna grab her, trying to open the door. That grab is pretty much guaranteed because as he's getting up from the floor, he's invulnerable. He's invincible, has the invincibility aura. So he's essentially guaranteed that he's gonna get the grab, which is 15 seconds off. And if he has any energy leech and infection and stuff like that, it also guarantees you're gonna get the the energy back, the buff and things like that. And you see, as long as they're spawning the door there, the zombies are spawning near the door, they actually cannot open it, because if they try to open it, they're going to enter the animation and the zombie is going to pretty much grab them while being invincible. So it's essentially a guaranteed grab if they try to open the door against this build without shooting the camera first. You see right there again how I'm spawning the zombies on the objective, which is the door there. So they will get up. And you see how they're biting a lot even though I'm not controlling them. That's because of the fresh blood. So I'm only using fresh blood 1, like I mentioned when I was explaining the build. But if you can imagine if I was using the level 2 as well, how much more often they would be grabbing. And they're already grabbing pretty often. You see right there, already into the grab. And because of all these grabs, especially the invincible ones, plus the infection, they waste a lot of time. Even though they're killing a lot of zombies, the time goes away pretty quickly because it's 15 seconds per grab. And every zombie they kill, it only gives them back 5 seconds, you know. Not to mention the 5 seconds they're losing for coughing from the infection. I mean, not to mention as well that often they just go down, you know, because it's too much damage. They just keep getting down, you know, infected. They I think I downed the Samuel there. I'm not sure, but you see how they go out of health pretty quickly. So this is a good example already how much you can overwhelm them with the zombies with this build. Okay. Now we did not. This is only area 1. The build gets more interesting as you progress to the stages. The areas, especially area 2, I think is probably the best. Not really, right? I guess area 2 would still be the best because then you have the liquor, which is just like an overkill type of card. It's so strong, and on top of all the zombies are already spawning. Plus, your energy is gonna be recharging the fastest when you're area 3. So I guess yeah, for that reason, area 3 would be the strongest area for this build. But on area 2 is where things get really fun because that's when you get the special card that costs 0, and then you can really up your game on the zombies spamming spawning of the zombies. So notice how you kind of have to play strategically as well. Notice how I place the dogs behind the zombies so that they will not be the main focus. I don't want them to focus on the dogs. I want the dogs to be the sort of flank type of attack as they are focusing on the. You see how I already got 2 grabs there, even though I wasn't controlling the zombie because of the fresh blood. So it's definitely necessary. Otherwise, none of this would be happening. They'll be just doing the little stupid bitch slap that they try to do, and it does no damage and doesn't even stop the survivors. So it's pretty useless. You see spawning again on the doors, so they have to deal with the zombie. They cannot open the door or they're gonna get grabbed. They know these players. I think they're good, so they know that they're actually killing the zombies before opening the door. You can also do this, control the zombies as they open the door to get some free hits. Fortunately, Martin definitely mixtape there already has the thing recharged, and he can use the flash there. Now I see we're playing a duo here, the rush duo. I think it's so dumb. I don't know why people still do this, but it's so dumb. Like you just rush alone and you essentially kill your entire team because you're wasting time getting chain grabbed because you're alone in the room from rushing, with this ultra speed. Again, you see how they're gonna open the door, they're gonna get grabbed right away because the zombies are just there waiting. And notice notice how they're infected as well during the matches. That's only because I'm using that buff on the camera. If I wasn't using, you can imagine how if I wasn't using that card for the buff on the infection, they would not be infected at all. They would just be running around normal because it's not enough damage for them to be infected. just from the
Voy
grabs alone.
muchos
But if you have
hay
the aura on
muchos
top
más
of that, then,
pasos por delante.
you know, it's much better.
Todo va según lo
You see, she's
planeado.
smart. She knows how to play, so you see how she left the door. She didn't try to keep opening, or else she would have got grabbed. And you see how she tried to shoot him,
Acabaré
and
con
he was invisible
vosotros.
also, so she still got grabbed. And this is what I mean for being alone, is
Gracias
when
por
my
no luchar con
playing this
caballos.
duel that Brush is so dumb. You can just get chain grab like that. I can control a zombie and just keep biting you over and over again until you die because you're alone in the room. No one there to save you. So it's always a bad idea. And you see, usually this build, Area 1, you usually win. Unless the team is really, really good, they managed to get to Area 2. But even Area 3 is pretty damn hard because,
Mi
you know,
fuerza
once you get to Area 2,
superará
you get that
vuestra
clone card. I
resistencia.
definitely probably have a match here or two that they got to Area 2. You'll be able to see the clone in action of that zero cost card. You should still step on the traps.
Tanta terquedad
Now
no
they're
es
gonna have
buena.
to go with 0 seconds. And you see he got grabbed for the dog because they usually ignore the dog because they're just focused on the creatures. It's so good. That's why I say don't mess with the cards because they actually all of them play a big purpose on the build,
Estáis a un
not just for the
paso.
cost. The dogs are you just keep attacking them, spreading the fashion. It's so good. And the clone is also pretty key in the fact that you can fill a room pretty quickly when you save your clone card to use with the double zombie there. You're gonna probably see me do this right now. And you see, I already have
Todo va
Birking. I almost
según lo
got Birking on Area
planeado.
1. And
Todo
that's
va
because what I
según lo
mentioned. I'm using
planeado.
that little book equipment plus the power
Voy
limited mod.
muchos más pasos por delante.
So the clone is best used for the dogs, the zero cost zombie, or the clone zombie that spawns 2 at a time. Those are the 3
Usar
best cards
vuestras
that you want to use the
aberraciones
clone
para
for on this build. That's why I
destruirlas.
have the clone there, so I can clone them.
Resulta irónico.
It's so good. That clone
¿Queréis
completely,
morir?
if you see, if you do not use the clone, it completely like stops your spawning. Your spawning like ability gets a little more diminished. You know, it's not the same. If you have the clone, you can just spawn like I mentioned, cloning the double zombie card. You
Muy
just
bien.
immediately like 4
La
zombies right away in
tarjeta
the
es
room.
vuestra.
It's a pretty big
Pero
deal.
esta fuerza
And
es
see, she got grabbed by the
imparable y la
invincibility grab,
controlo yo.
and there's already like 10 other zombies waiting for her to do the grab to grab her again. Plus the fact that you can actually control the zombie on top of all of this, so it's pretty fun. And you also have Birking, you know. And once it gets to Area 2, you get the zero cost card plus Birking, and it becomes way stronger. Like the spawning becomes even more out of control.
Penséis que
And
escaparéis
remember,
a
all of them
tiempo.
always spawn invincible until they get up. So they cannot be shot at all, and they will grab you if you're just standing there in front of them. If once they get up, there's so many zombies in the room, and they're all using fresh blood, so they're always jumping and try to grab. You know, it becomes too overwhelming for them.
Tal y como esperaba.
It's a really good and actually pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, pretty fun to play this build. Just like completely overwhelm them with the zombies. But you see there, you know, it's so strong by itself that you almost don't even need Birking there. But against those really good SWAT teams, that's why I'm showing you guys the best build, because that will
Solo
cover even
necesito
for those type of
suprimir
teams,
vuestra
okay?
existencia.
Even though it seems like you don't need it here, for those type of teams, it will actually be very helpful. Even though
Ciencia en
we're
su
getting some
apogeo.
experienced
No.
players here, but
No creo
it's
que
still
vaya.
pretty
No
hard
es
as it is,
letal,
even
desde luego.
without using,
Pero me hará
you know,
ganar
the full
tiempo.
power, getting to Area 3 and things like that.
Echemos un vistazo.
And again, I think it's the same Jill from the previous match. She's still trying that rush thing. And they just never give up, right? I don't understand. Like, what's even fun about this? Like, just rushing the objective. Like, she doesn't even kill anyone. Just, like, rushes. I don't know. Plus the fact that this build is pretty useless after Area 1. Because then, I mean, especially in Area 3, like, there's no use for your speed. Because you have to, like, sit there and shoot the core. You know? But it's mostly just a useful build for Area 1. This Speedy Joe build.
Mientras
And you see, I'm also spawning. You see how I'm again spawning the dogs, sort of out of sight, so they are the surprise attack. Now you see that the speed, she's actually doing good with the speed now, so she already managed to get rid of a lot of objectives there before I could even react.
puedo encargarme de esto sola.
However, they still, that's why I separated on my preset in this way, so they have to deal with these separate rooms, and I can lock the doors and things like that. You see, this is a big problem. When you go, you see the power of this build here. You see how much I'm spawning? Like she barely went to that corner. There's already like 20 zombies in the room going for the bite. Now plus the infection, and remember I can also control the zombie and chain bite, or just keep hitting them. Like when they're getting grabbed like this, you can also hit them. and grab them again like I just did there. Fortunately, the others were able to get in time and help her, but you see, she still got infected from it. And I'm gonna get even more damage here. Try to make some use of the zombie before he inevitably dies. So this is a good example. Like this team did pretty well, not too bad. Like 3 minutes still, and mostly because of that Jill, right? She was rushing the objective. But now this is when it gets interesting, because when it starts to move on to area 2, now area 3, you see the power really of this build really elevates, because the spawning gets way more out of control. I think this build is probably the best example of all the matches I have here. I said build? I think I said build. I mean match. This match will probably be the best of them to show how fast you get burking. Because I think I probably used burking like 3 times in this area 2 here before they inevitably died. Now you don't have to do this, like just spawn them as I'm doing here, like randomly. I'm just using this because I mean, you know, why not? It's not really that big deal. But like the most, I mean, I guess it's good that you're spawning them as well, so they don't shoot your cameras. Because if you have no zombies, they're just gonna shoot your camera, you know. So it's a bit of a distraction, so to speak. So they don't focus on your camera. That's why I'm not using shields at all, because there's so many zombies that, you know, and I can also control the zombie if they try to shoot my camera. So I'm not just like doing nothing, waiting for my camera to come back. So you see, let's count how many times I'm able to use Birkin here. And this is the best way I think you can use him. It's just really just don't go for the grab, because the grab takes so long and they can get saved. Just go for damage, really, just downing people. Because then you can spawn Birkin more zombies later on top of them and everything. I think it looks here like Tyrone used the alt ability, so they took less damage. Now the reason why I'm grabbing him is because he's the one that can save, you know, with the kick. So him is not that bad to grab. And for this particular scenario, since they are so far from the objective, is why I grabbed. Because you don't want to do this when they're next to the objective, because otherwise they can just ignore you, leave you doing the animation of the kill, and just do the objective, which is then you lose, you know. Not a good idea. So Jill is trying to rush again. I was kind of expecting this. She has the damn rocket launcher. So not much I can do here. She's gonna pretty much clear the entire room. Notice how fast Birkin is gonna come back. I got him like on the room before. I think before they even leave this room, I'm already gonna have Birkin again. Not sure. We'll see. So yeah, now I lock the door, and there's already so many spot. I mean, you can see the video. There's so many zombies like just running towards her, and she's alone in the room, so I can chain grab as well by controlling the zombie. It's pretty fun, man. I can't lie. It's pretty fun to just like completely overwhelm them like this. Especially how the zombies grab them by themselves. You don't have to like all the time control them. You see again, Birking. It pretty much only lasted one room. The time that they were dealing with this room was enough time for me to get Birking again, as you can tell. So you can imagine this throughout the entire area 2. As the area 2 is going, every room you're getting Birking. And I guess the area 3 is the same thing. Pretty much every core you're gonna have Birking ready, or even before that. So it becomes pretty overwhelming. A good idea as well is always to spawn the max amount of zombies before you use Birking. You know, so because then the zombies will help overwhelm them even more along with Birking. But you see, like it's completely it's way too much. Like they can barely deal with the zombies, and you still have Birking like so often like this. It's very powerful. There's very little counter they can do. The best counter they can do here is really just try to ignore the zombies. But that's why fresh blood is there, because when they try to ignore the zombies, they're gonna get grabbed with the fresh blood. The zombies are much more grabby. So if they try to go run past them, they usually get grabbed. That's when you can control the zombie next to it and just, you know, do the hits and chain grabs and all that stuff, chain bites, right? And do all the stuff that I mentioned. So I believe this is the last game. But you guys can see the power already of Birking, how fast you're getting him. And you could already see how much you can spam. I think I already showed you the clone as well, how you can use the clone. A few examples here of spawning. The best cards are really to use, like I mentioned, is the zero cost, the dogs, and the double zombie card there that spawns two at the same time. Like I mentioned, you don't have to do this. Like this is not a strategic smart play at all. Like just spawning the zombies in front of him like that. I'm just doing that because I really don't care, you know. It's just for fun, mostly. Just throw shit at them. Not, but that's not an actual smart thing to do.
Vuestras muertes serán una
Strategically
prueba
speaking,
más.
you definitely want
La
to play around the doors,
investigación y
not
sus
just spawn the
resultados son
zombies like
demasiado
randomly like that.
peligrosos para este mundo.
Like wait for them to get to the doors and then you start spawning zombies. So you grab them on the door and also just around them, you know. So as they're shooting the zombie that spawned on the door, the other zombies around will be doing work, you know, going for them. You see, notice as well how I'm spawning zombies in front and behind her. That's so while she's distracted with one, the other ones are coming behind her and gonna grab her. That's the reason why I do that. Instead of just spawning all four of them in front of her, and then she has clear vision of everything. You know, that's not good. It's smarter to spawn the zombies, you know, sort of around them. You know, so she has to like turn the camera. It's not as easy to have a clear idea of everyone. So I usually try to save the. You see right there, I cloned the double zombie, so now it immediately just spawned like 4 zombies on the map, which is a lot. It's almost like the entire max amount that I can spawn on area 1, just like in a single clone card. She's cornering herself here, so that's I can take advantage of this. I'm waiting for the grab to charge, and now we got the grab. I can just control another zombie, and she's alone. When she's alone like this, you want to make the most of it. Just keep grabbing. She has to deal with all these grabs. She cannot avoid it. Now, unfortunately, here I control the wrong zombie. He's still recovering on the biting. Notice one thing there I did. It's really important. You notice how I was not swinging at her, but I was swinging to what she was running towards. You know, because she's not gonna get stunned, so she will still be moving. But by swinging where she's running towards, I can still hit her, and you know, during and after her invincibility from the stun has passed away, and then she'll get stunned again. You know, and so on. If I was just hitting where she would still be on the invulnerability phase where she cannot get stunned again by the hit, the swing, and she would be able to take the swing, not get stunned, and just run past me. So that's why I'm running. I hit towards where they're running and not where she's at. When I know they're not gonna get stunned from it, you know, because the hit itself pushes me forward, you know, so I can kind of follow them while hitting at the same time. That way. And see as well again, like already 4 zombies there. It's waiting for him. And this is the 0-1, like I mentioned when you can. I already have Birking, but it looks like I won't. Again, notice how I spawn a few zombies before I use Birking, so that they're still distracted with the zombies while Birking is active. Because I can't spawn zombies and control Birking at the same time. And again, if you're gonna grab, always try to grab Tyrone. Always, 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 if there is one, because he's the one that can save the others with the kick for no cost at all. You know, no cost of a grenade or anything like that. So definitely, if there's a Tyrone, you want to grab him. And once he's dead, you can maybe, if you want to, grab the others. Now that was pretty funny how the hit still got him, like from the behind hitbox. That was pretty fun. Right there, another grab from the back, so she can't really react to it. She got grabbed there again. You see how the zombie got up and grabbed her, and he's invincible. Like that grab is absolutely guaranteed. He's invincible for the entire duration of that grab. The others cannot save her from it. Again, the chain grab here because she's alone goes down. This kind of chaining when the AI grabs them by themselves is when you're gonna not only take the most time away from them but also down them. Kind of like this. I mean, it's so fun, dude. Honestly, this build is pretty fun. It's kind of overpowered, but it's pretty fun to play with. Now you see, I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard to get to area 3. I mean, so hard. I can barely even record the game, even against good teams. But yeah, guys, you saw an idea of the build. On area 3, it just get worse because you get faster energy, so you can also spawn faster the zombies. You're never out of energy, and you have the lickers as well. So lickers are gonna be jumping around on them as well and giving everyone regen. It's a fucking nightmare. And you also have breaking fast, like you saw there, right? So guys, that's the video. Take care and have fun with the build.